hang on. I have to share over here. All right, hopefully everyone will be able to see this in just a second. Is that good? Excellent, thank you. So yeah, my team and I are Abundant Business Connections, and we're your one-stop shop for local legend meaningful marketing. So we work with a lot of different businesses on the west side of Denver who want to, leverage us for done for you meaningful marketing. So that means that they're providing some value to their target market, and we work with neighbors. So this is more for folks who are trying to connect with neighbors and gain referrals from those folks. And we have a 4-step method, which I'll kind of walk through. So first, we give you access to high-end monthly magazines in specific neighborhoods that are important to your business growth plan. And in those publications, you get to tell your authentic story, sponsor high-profile content important to the community, and just connect neighbors together and with your business. So these are 2 of our publications, Applewood Living and Golden Living. And then all of the private publications that we provide and the communities we work with are by, for, and about the neighbors who receive them. We always feature a neighborhood family or resident on the cover and interview them and tell their stories in the pages. And that's really why this has such a high level of engagement, because, when this publication lands in your mailbox and you see the Streebs or the Terrans or the Luckens on the cover, you just have to open it because you want to see, who they are, what they're about, or you already know them. And so you, of course, want to, read about their story. But even equally as important to that, these publications provide the neighbors with, an opportunity to share information with each other. So we have a lot of neighbors that write content. So these are just a few of the articles that our neighbors have shared with their community. And it's been really fun. Like these last 2, the colony collapse disorder and eco-friendly takeout, were actually written by middle schoolers in the communities, and they got to publish them in their magazine. And without our sponsors, who are local business owners, of course, the neighbors wouldn't have the opportunity to share this type of content with their neighbors. And so it's a lot of fun to provide that and kind of connect them with their local business community. Some of our sponsors showcase their expertise with articles about their industry, and those are our expert contributors or anchors. So this is just kind of an example of that. And they get to do that. It's an exclusive program, which is nice. So there can only be 1 expert per industry in each publication. The second way we connect you guys with the community is amplifying your message by broadcasting your business and branding digitally to all the devices in the neighborhood. And then we also use positive PR to share the amazing things you're doing in the community and for your clients. One of our positive PR programs is sponsoring content. So in the left example, you'll see that Rise Dance Company right here in Applewood, they sponsor the Kids Corner. So natural choice for them. And then the kids get to see, a fun craft or something each month in the magazine. And then we have a realtor sponsor. That's another example of content sponsorship. And then we also have a new sports section. So this is pretty fun. So we're featuring all ages and stages of local sports. So if you guys know any athletes, I'm looking to connect with them so that we can interview them and feature them in their neighborhood magazine. And this has a second digital placement too for our sponsors on the national website and app from our publishing company. And then fourth, we share messages for all of our sponsors across our hyperlocal social media pages. So Applewood Living has a page for the Applewood neighborhood. Golden Living has a page for the Golden neighborhoods. And we just, share everything that we can for our sponsors. We also are a little bit of a do-gooder company ourselves. So I got really nervous when I started working in publishing because I was worried about all the paper usage. So I started planting trees every month to offset all the paper that we're using. So you can feel good about that. We're not, we're neutralizing our impact, which is great. And that's through the Arbor Day Foundation. And this is just a few testimonials of some of our sponsors. Overall, our sponsors have a 90% renewal rate for the publications, which is great. That means it's working well for them. And that was established during a pandemic. So if folks are renewing at 90% during a pandemic, I think we're doing a lot of good things for them. And then I also host some events in the area. We have happy hours on the 4th Tuesday of the month at the Buffalo Rose in Golden, which is great. And we're looking to expand that into the other neighborhoods that we serve as well. And so I'll just kind of open it up, see if you guys have any questions, and then pass it back over to Madison. Anyone have questions about the local neighborhood sponsorship scene? Happy to answer those. All right, I think we might be good, Madison. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then, did it go back? Okay, good.
Thanks, Meg, so much. If you want to send your info in the chat, I'm sure a lot of people would love to connect. I saw Dana utilizing the chat as well. So feel free to send your contact info, any URLs to the chat to kind of connect that way as well. This whole networking piece is on Zoom, so it's a little bit different than business cards in hand. So feel free to send that to the chat. And we're going to get started with the ROM presentation. So I'm going to start off before I start sharing my screen with the show of your hands with your digits, 1 through 5, 5 being the most comfortable, 1 being the least comfortable. How in the know are you for the West Metro Chamber, all the programs, the events we host? Just FYI, we do host over 120 a year. So 1 through 5, how comfortable would you say that you are in the know about all that goes on with the chamber? I'm going to say I'm a 5. Awesome. Just getting a read of the room so then I know which ones to really dive into. All right. Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to get started with a little share the screen presentation. And I'm just going to share my entire screen and we're just going to do this. I feel like sometimes this is just easier. All right. So return on membership. And we're going to dive in today about time is money and how to utilize the time that you have. Best use it towards the chamber programs and events that we host. So like I mentioned, we do host over 120 programs and 4 signature events every year. And that doesn't include the ribbon cuttings that we host and the little offstanding ones that come here and there, but that's for just the ones that are on a consistent rolling basis. So we're going to dive into each one of those. If at any point you have any questions, feel free to virtually raise your hand or just go ahead and unmute yourself because I am sharing my screen. So I really only see my face right now. So, all right, we're going to dive into this. So we're first going to talk about all the programming that we host. So just to give you an idea that these are some images, obviously from a while ago, but we have some women in business photos. That's a business after hours in the top right, and then a young professionals photo in the bottom left. So our Women in Business program, this program is open to women and men. I always like to say that the topics are definitely more relevant to professional women and anyone trying to grow their business. So it's not closed off to anyone. This is hosted on the 4th Tuesdays, the 4th Tuesdays at 8 a.m. We're at varying locations across Jefferson County. We've hosted it down south at points. We've hosted it in Lakewood as well. And this is open. I want to start off actually to say that all of these programs are open to anyone in your business or organization. So I recently had a question of like, hey, person A has joined the chamber under this business, who can go? And it's anyone in that business. A membership with the West Metro Chamber means the entire business as a whole. So if you have an intern that wants to get involved, if you have a business development person that wants to get involved, they're welcome to come to any and all of these programs as a member themselves and at the discounted membership rates. So we have women in business. Yes.
Just excuse me really quick. So then the discounted membership rate was really the operative phrase there. So guests can come at the guest rate. Are pretty much all these events open to guests as well, people who are not members?
Correct. So yeah, all of our programs are open to members and guests. Thanks, Joyce. We do limit to about 2 before we ask for a membership commitment. It's kind of to dip your toes to see if the membership is right for you. But yes, so it is that way. But as I was saying, that the membership discounted registration fees. I'll talk about Wind Down Wednesday in a bit. So like guests pay a little bit extra than a regular chamber member would. Next, we have young professionals. The young professionals meet twice a month, once for a morning meeting and once for a happy hour. This is for anyone 40 and under, and it is a great networking piece for those people to find professional development topics, as well as philanthropic and educational topics. We bring in guest speakers, and it is a great way to kind of expand that network, especially, as I mentioned, for that intern or for that marketing manager that you have on staff. It is a great way to kind of plug them in and get them involved with the chamber as well. They meet for the morning meetings on the second Thursday of every month, and for the happy hours on the fourth Thursday. The happy hours are hosted at varying locations across Jeffco, supporting members and member restaurants. And the morning meetings are hosted at the chamber office. Next, we have union corridor professionals. I get a lot of questions about this one because people don't really understand what that means, because it is one of our geographically focused programs. So all of us have probably driven on Union Boulevard before, and also become Sims. So this is not closed off to any businesses. We like to say that it's open to anyone that is doing business in Lakewood. We do, however, have spotlight speakers for the businesses that are located on the Union Boulevard. So this road ranges, we have community updates from West Metro Fire, Lakewood Police Department, Lakewood Economic Development, obviously the chamber's there. And this program is completely free and hosted at different locations on Union. And it usually has coffee involved because it is a 7:30 a.m. meeting. So that's where Quinn, your office supply, really comes in handy at those meetings. Wind Down Wednesday. So I talked about this one a little bit earlier, and actually we have a Wind Down Wednesday today. So Wind Down Wednesday is hosted only April through November. And it is at varying restaurant locations across Jeffco. And with your registration that you do online, you get 2 drink tickets upon arrival at the program, and free appetizers with the restaurant that we're at. And it is a great smaller networking piece. So we'll talk about business after hours. That's our premier networking event that have usually over 40 individuals attending. A Wind Down Wednesday has closer to about 15 to 20. And it is just a great way to kind of connect with those people instead of just hand-to-hand business card passing over. It is a much more intimate setting. And that is hosted on the 3rd Wednesday of every month, April through November. So business after hours, this is our premier networking event, meaning that it is our biggest and most popular. This is completely free to members and guests to join us. And as you can see, we always have a little spot open here on this other business card, because usually you'll see the logo of whoever's hosting that business after hours. We find venues of businesses across Jeffco that will host our groups. And it is a fun time, and it has food and drink. You also get 2 drink tickets at these as well. And our hosts provide the food and drink. And it is just a great networking piece and a great way to get involved. And I'll talk about this. This is actually kind of a hint into the future. Our December business after hours is usually a holiday party. So you'll be hearing more about that towards the end of this presentation, because we already got it booked and we're looking for registrations and sponsors, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But this is hosted every month on the 1st Thursday, unless there's a holiday that falls on that date, from 5 to 7 p.m. at member locations. If you're ever interested in hosting one of these, if you have a storefront or a business location that is big enough to host, please do reach out to me. We're always looking for places to host, especially business after hours. It's a great way of getting those people in your doors and being a main sponsor / host of this program. Next, we have South Jeffco Business. So we actually have partnered with Foothills Parks and Rec for their South Jeffco Business Alliance program that they already have running full-fledged. And they are meeting next week, and you'll find all of these things on our calendar. But South Jeffco Business, we brought forth as another geographically targeted program for those businesses in the South Jeffco area. Even though they Our unincorporated Jeffco, we definitely get them involved with the West Metro Chamber as best as we can. I actually live down south and I'm currently there right now. So I definitely like when things are hosted down south. It's my neck of the woods, so to speak. So South Jeffco Business Alliance meets once a month. And that is on the third Tuesdays at 9 a.m. at the Peak Community and Wellness Center. And they always have a breakfast sponsor as well as great speakers. This month, I think I mentioned they are meeting next week, and it's actually on an off day because they are having all of the Jeffco commissioners speak at their meeting. So I highly recommend checking them out and attending if you have the chance. Trailblazers, no blazers required. So this was brought new to 2019, and it is a different way of networking. It's actually a hiking program. So we take to the trails. Jeffco is such a beautiful place to hike and get outdoorsy and involved. This was an idea brought forth with the Young Professionals program. They were all talking about going skiing and hiking together. And I was like, hey, let's do a hike every month. So for the good weather months, so usually I believe we do it from March through October. We take to the trails, we find different trailheads. We actually have one coming up next week, and then we're hiking one of the tables in Golden. I always forget if it's the south or north, so I'm not going to tell you which table. You'll have to check out our website and find out which one. But they're always super fun. Definitely a smaller group, but a different way of networking, of just kind of getting outside and stretching your legs after work. They are held also on the third Tuesday, similar to South Jeffco Business Alliance, but this is hosted at 5 p.m. So definitely a nice leg stretching after work. Ribbon cuttings. So ribbon cuttings are hosted from the West Metro Chamber for any member that's celebrating anything. That's at least what I like to say. So if you're celebrating a grand opening, we love to support you. If you're celebrating an anniversary for your business, or we even have one coming up that's celebrating someone's new website being built. So these ribbon cuttings are super exciting. We just revamped our ribbon cutting application process. We host the event on our website, and it is a great way to kind of promote your business. You get mentioned in the newsletters, and it's a fun way of getting people in your business. It ranges on how many people you get, but it's a fun way of just, like I said, getting people in your doors and seeing what you're all about. These are hosted varying times throughout the year. Yeah, so ribbon cuttings, and we actually have one coming up on the 20th for Rocky Mountain Elder Law, and they're just celebrating their new chamber membership. So it's a great way to—
Hey, really
Yes.
quick, Madison. So if, for those of us like myself that work out of, corner of their basement or wherever it is in their home, they don't have a brick and mortar location. Haven't you done ribbon cuttings actually at the chamber office? How does that work?
Great question. So we do joint ribbon cuttings at the chamber office for those that do not have a storefront or a brick and mortar to host these things. We usually do it quarterly just because it's not as popular of a thing, but we actually do have one coming up in October. And that's actually for the example of the one that has a new website being built. They're going to be a part of the joint ribbon cutting in October. They're hosted at the chamber office. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I don't have that one written down, but yes, there is an option for those people that don't have a place to host a big ribbon cutting. Thanks, Joyce. All righty. And of course we have ROM. Oops, backwards. So if you haven't been to a ROM before, this is actually a link, so I'm not going to click it just yet. I have it pulled up in a link, but we have our return on membership program. And this is also a great way, as you can see, it's a smaller group of people, but it's a great way of kind of connecting with, soon to be members or members that are just learning the logistics of it. Or we have even connectors on this call as well. I know Dan is a connector, and they're a great way, a great source of how to get connected and to figure out all about these programs. And as you know, I'm recording this one and it'll be posted to our YouTube channel. And so were the ones before this. And we really dive into different topics for return on membership programs, just to kind of talk about all the different ways to make sure you get your investment back. All right, so moving on from programs into signature events. So before I keep going, does anyone have any questions about any of the programs I just talked about? If you're raising your hand, I can't see it, but I'm assuming there's no questions. All right, so signature events. We have 4 every year. And we're hoping to introduce more moving forward. But we have our Celebrate Jeffco, Golf Tournament, Taste of the West, and Women's Summit. And so I'm going to dive into each one of those and give you a little bit more background about that. So in the bottom right of this, you'll see one of our members giving a high five. That's actually at our Chairman's Gala, which has now been renamed to Celebrate Jeffco. And this is our annual business awards, which the gala is still a gala, but it is now in a Celebrate Jeffco form because we're celebrating all of the county. And it is a super fun one to get involved with. So Celebrate Jeffco. We revamped it to just really celebrate our community and those resilient businesses that have just powered through what we've dealt with for the past, I don't know, it's been over a year is all I know. It's been way too long. I think we can all agree on that. But for the past 600 days, just celebrating those businesses that have really, strong armed their way through this and powered their way and grown their business through unprecedented times. So Celebrate Jeffco is our annual business awards. This is usually hosted at the beginning of each year. I think we're looking at either a January or February for 2022. And we seek nominations for small, medium, large businesses of the year, as well as minority owned businesses, young professionals of the year, connectors of the year, et cetera, et cetera. So we give out, I believe, 7 awards at these, and it's a great time. It is a fancy gala to get involved with. I don't know how to pronounce it, but either way, it's a fun time, and we are just always celebrating. So that's the first one. Then we also have Taste of the West, which we actually just hosted this past August. This is our biggest event that we host every year, and it is a food and drink festival. And it is the premier one for Jefferson County. We're the only one that covers all of the county in our taste event. This past year was actually record-breaking with the most vendors and the most attendees. So we're super excited to hopefully break that record all over again next year. This is typically hosted in June, but as you can assume, this past year has been wild. So we're hoping it will be June 2022. We also introduced a business expo component this year. Especially because, as we've all seen, restaurants, breweries, distilleries, whomever are all having staffing issues. So we found a way to kind of get other businesses plugged in, offering food as well. But it was a good time. We had over 750 attendees and over 30 taste vendors and over 10 business vendors. And we just had a good old time. And it was sponsored by Hands of the Carpenter, a nonprofit in our area that supports single women and getting them into cars if they don't have a reliable mode of transportation. So there's always sponsorship opportunities with all of these. So it's a great event. It's one of my favorites, at least. We also have our golf shootout, which I'm highly going to recommend, especially if you are a golfer and you haven't gotten involved yet. The deadline is this Friday. The golf tournament is on the 24th. Right before this call, I was just talking to our events manager. We only have 10 spots left. So we're really excited to fill that up. We actually asked the golf course for a few extra spots just to, accommodate a few extra community impact partners that we have. But we're really excited. This is sponsored by High Point Financial, Lutheran Hospital, and Red Rocks Community College. And it is a great networking piece for those that are golfers or not. I like to call this the golf tournament that you do not have to be good at golf. I myself might be looking at playing this year if we get an extra spot open, and I will be making sure that I am on the team that is aiming for the award for the worst team, because I am really good at high scoring in golf. And so that's my goal this year, is to hopefully be the highest scorer, which we all know is really good for bowling, but maybe not much as golf. But if you are interested, make sure you get that registration in before a deadline on Friday the 17th at 5 p.m. And yeah, so it's super exciting. And this is hosted every year as well. And usually I would say mid to late September. And we're super excited to be hosting at the Homestead even in 2022. So just keep an eye out on how to get involved with that next year if you're not interested in this year. Next, we have the Women's Summit of the Rockies. So Women's Summit of the Rockies is another annual event hosted in November. We usually host at different hotels in our area. I believe this year we're at the Denver Marriott West, so right near the Colorado Mills. And this is a great way to just get connected with fellow professional women in the area. It's also open to men again, even though we say women in business or women's summit, men are welcome. We're not closed off. But once again, the topics are usually more developed towards a professional women audience. There are sponsorships available always. And then this year, we're actually introducing a VIP ticket. So keep your eyes peeled. This is going to be on November 16th for 2021. Registration's not quite open yet, but we do have sponsorships and business vendor tables available. And last year we actually hosted this as a hybrid event, but this year it will be completely in person. So we're really excited to bring people back and have a keynote speaker as well as 2 different breakout sessions with 4 breakout session options.
Okay, quick question. Are you going to do a half day, all day? If it's a half day, is it morning or afternoon?
So it is from 11 to 4 with
Okay.
a cocktail hour following. So I don't really know if that's a full day or a half day. Kind of sounds like a half.
I want to put it on my calendar because it's for the people who haven't gone. It's really, really good.
It is a good one.
Just fabulous speakers, great networking. It was harder with a hybrid, I will say, because I didn't get to go in person. So I'm glad it's in person.
Me too. I'm really excited. We're just booking our keynote now and getting our breakout sessions aligned and hopefully getting those marketing materials out so then we can start pushing registration right after golf ends. But yeah, so thanks, Joyce. And like she said, this is a great event. And we do have business vendor tables available. We have a limited amount of those, but we have different sponsorship levels. And like I said, the VIP ticket as well. All right, so I believe that's all of our signature events. So do we have any questions about signature events? If you don't have your hand raised, I'm going to keep moving. All right, so now we have how to stay in the know, how to know which programs to go to when they're happening, basically what's going on and how do I figure this out. So after I've really talked about all the different ones, you probably already have a few that you've maybe starred in your notes or, kind of tagged in your brain about which ones I want to go to and which ones make sense for your business. If you ever need recommendations on, which ones to get plugged into, please feel free to reach out to me or our new director of member engagement, Erin. We always have great ways of kind of providing more information about maybe the topics coming up or sponsorship options for those different programs. But now I'm going to talk about how you know what's going on and, how to make sure you're staying in the know. Because I know we had a lot of 2s, 3s, and a couple 1s on the different ways of getting to know all the chamber programs and events. So we have our monthly e-blast that goes out on the first weekday of every month. This is an example of the one that went out in April. The only event that this one's missing is my birthday. So, other than that, it usually has everything that's going on, unless we have a last minute, like I say, kind of one standing event or a ribbon cutting that comes up last minute, that you can see that it usually has it listed. It tells you what time they start. And it's a great way, and you can see the little email notifications. Those are the newsletters that go out. So it's a great way of kind of just getting involved and seeing what's coming up. This is a downloadable calendar, and you can take that little push pin like Dana is going to be, put that in your cork board on your wall and just make sure you keep in mind of what's coming up. Not only do we have a calendar created like this, but for those that are just more of a plain piece of paper person, we also do have a list of everything coming up in the month sent out in that same email. So this is our West Metro monthly. We also have the West Metro weekly. So we have a chamber weekly e-newsletter. This goes out to over 2,000 different contacts every week. And it really lists everything coming up, usually about 1 or 2 weeks in advance. As well as this is a great way if you yourself or your business has an event coming up, you can actually submit these events to me and they go into our chamber weekly newsletter. And it has community happenings, has chamber happenings, has ribbon cuttings, and any kind of informational material that's important to know. And if you aren't subscribed to either of those, I will be sending my email in the chat, and you can either just say in the chat box, or you can send me an email after this and just be like, hey, I want to get signed up, subscribed to both of these newsletters, or maybe just the monthly one, up to you. But just let me know and I can get you subscribed. All right, I kind of touched on this earlier, and I'll dive into it a little bit. So we do have a holiday party coming up on December 2nd. We're super excited. This is our business after hours holiday party. And these are one of our biggest business after hours, just because, everyone loves to celebrate the holiday season. It's going to be falling obviously very close to Thanksgiving and going into the holiday season. And it will be, since you guys are on ROM, and that means that you're looking into how to get the best out of it. We will be having prizes based on your ugliest Christmas sweater. So if you have those, go ahead and pull them out of your closet. Get them, I was about to say ironed. I guess you don't iron sweaters, but get those ready for December 2nd. So we're super excited to host that coming up this year. And there are sponsorship opportunities for that to get more involved. Obviously, registration's not open yet. We're just seeking out those sponsorships right now. And the way to know about this thing or any other things is also following us on social media. And I will be showing you our social media pages at the end of this. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. Obviously, we have ROM, best way to kind of know about getting the return of your membership. This one's recorded. And so if you want to review later, like all the different programs and events, this one will be on our YouTube. We also have our community impact partners that I want to thank. We have Encompass TV on this call. And I believe that's it. I can't see on the bottom of the screen, but just want to thank our community impact partners. And actually, if you're interested in being one of these, they actually get free tickets to different events through their membership. And it's a great way of just getting more involved. They're on our newsletter, they're on our website, they're on our banner. So it's a great way to kind of promote your business. Even if you can't make it to these things, it's a great way to get at least logo representation and a shout out on things like ROM. And last but not least, if you can't make it to these things, we also usually have membership decals for those with a storefront. We are actually already printing with Dana, our 2022 membership decals to put on the front of your business. So for those that are going to be renewing their membership or active in 2022, feel free to let me know if you're interested in getting one of these decals. And if you don't have a storefront, we also have a digital decal that you are welcome to put on your website as well. So like I mentioned, I'm going to talk about, or not even talk about, but really just show you guys, we do have our West Metro Chamber Facebook page. And it is a great way of just kind of staying in the know. I'm going to show you, I was going to show you posts, but you can scroll down, you can see like next week, it talks about, different videos, different funding opportunities, more programming, and, just letting you know what's coming up, just in case you miss it in your email, or if you're not an email kind of person. It tells you different deadlines, different subscriptions, registration links. So look, there's the ROM one, time is money. So if you click that, it would take you to the website to get registered for these kind of things. We also have a Twitter account, which has the same exact posts, but definitely in a more condensed format. So if you're more attuned to Twitter, and then LinkedIn, we also have presence on there, and it's a great way to kind of get to be in the know, as well as kind of sharing your connections on that as well. All right. So are there any questions about how to follow, how to subscribe, or anything about what I just talked about very fast? All right, I'm seeing no questions. But yeah, so like I said, if you want to be subscribed to our newsletter or have any questions or concerns, my email is madison@westmetrochamber.org. I'm sending that to the chat right now. And we also have Aaron at westmetrochamber.org, and we are great resources of how to make sure you're getting a return on your membership and a return on your investment into the chamber. We're super excited for you to be members or looking at membership, or just figuring out the best way to use the membership that you've already invested in. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to stop recording now. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know.
Thank you.